I am the Divine Trust Express, A Bay, doing business as Land Air Water Bureau. We welcome you and yours to another episode of Oh My God, those Moorish Americans are actually sovereign after all. Episode 2. That's right, brothers and sisters, those Moorish Americans are actually sovereign after all. But don't take my word for it. Here it is. We're over on Google Books. This is the Negro Law of South Carolina, collected and digested by John Belton O'Neill, one of the judges of the Courts of Law and Errors of the said state, under a resolution of the State Agricultural Society of South Carolina. That's right. There goes those agricultural liens all over again. So this was 1848. We go right down. University of California had the book. We're going to go right down to chapter 1. Negro Law of South Carolina. The status of the Negro, his rights, and disabilities. Section 1. The Act of 1740, Section 1, declares all Negroes and Indians, free Indians in amity with this government, Negroes, mulattoes, and mestizos, who now are free, accepted to be slaves. The offspring to follow the condition of the mother, and that such slaves are chattels personal. Section 2. Under this provision, it has been uniformly held that color is prima facie evidence that the party bearing the color of a Negro, mulatto, or mestizo is a slave. But the prima facie result does not follow from the Indian color. Section 3. Indians and descendants of Indians are regarded as free Indians in amity with this government until the contrary be shown. In the second proviso of Section 1 of the Act of 1740, it is declared that every Negro, Indian, mulatto, and mestizo is a slave unless the contrary can be made to appear. Yet in the same, it is immediately thereafter provided the Indians in amity with this government accept it, in which case the burden of proof shall lie on the defendant. That is, on the person claiming the Indian plaintiff to be a slave. This latter clause of the proviso is now regarded as furnishing the rule. The race of slave Indians, or of Indians not in amity to this government, the state, is extinct, and hence the previous part of the proviso has no application. The term Negro. Section 4. The term Negro is confined to slave Africans, the ancient Berbers, and their descendants. It does not embrace the free inhabitants of Africa, such as the Egyptians, Moors, or the Negro Asiatics, such as the Lascars. Let's read that again.
Yeah.
Section 4. The term Negro is confined to slave Africans, the ancient Berbers, and their descendants. It does not embrace the free inhabitants of Africa, such as the Egyptians, Moors, or the Negro Asiatics, such as the Lascars. There you have it, brothers and sisters. The Egyptians, the Moors, the Negro Asiatics are not slaves never were regarded as slaves. So that's Egyptians, Moors, and Asiatics are not Negroes. So you have different classes, different statuses amongst melanated or carbonated so-called African, so-called black people. So if you're a free inhabitant, you're sovereign. The Moors are actually sovereign again. So let's go into it a little further. Let's look up the word free in the law dictionary, 2nd edition, Black's Law online. Unconstrained, having power to follow the dictates of his own will, not subject to the dominion of another, not compelled to involuntary servitude, used in this sense as opposed to slave. It's the opposite of slave. Not bound to service for a fixed term of years, in distinction to being bound as an apprentice, enjoying full civic rights. Not despotic, assuring liberty, defending individual rights against encroachment by any person or class, instituted by a free people, said of governments, institutions, etc. So let's go over to inhabitant. One who resides actually, not fictitiously, but actually and permanently, not for a little while, but permanently in a given place and has domicile there, ex parte, as a creditor. The words inhabitant, citizen, and resident, as employed in different constitutions to define the qualifications of electors, mean substantially the same thing. And one is an inhabitant, resident, or citizen at a place where he has his domicile or home. But the terms resident and inhabitant have also been held not synonymous, so they're not the same thing. The latter being inhabitant, implying a more fixed and permanent abode than the former, and importing privileges and duties to which a mere resident would not be subject. So residents do not have equal privileges or duties as inhabitants. There you have it, brothers and sisters. The Moors are actually sovereign after all. There's more proof. If we provided you value today here at Land, Air, Water Bureau, don't forget to smash that subscribe button, like, and share this video. And if you need help with status correction, reach out to us, Land, Air, Water Bureau. Thank you for tuning in.